Hello everyone, and what is going on? Hyperion-Blue-GT here. We got a brand new update on Gran Turismo 7 for January 2025. Update 1.55 that brings out to have a showcase with 3 road car and a 1990 style of an F1 race car has now introduced to go adding up on the lineup. This is going to be good, interesting, and we got ourselves to have a good car collection is now being well featured along with the new events. Now let's have a good look and explain the details to have some new features and new events for update 1.55. 4 cars has now added to have 3 of them in Brand Central and 1 for the used car dealership. One of them is the Gran Turismo F3500-A is now quite good to have a 1990 style of an F1 race car, followed by with the Honda Civic Si Extra EF model 1987 sold at the used car dealership. 2 of them by brand new along with the F3500-A is the Hyundai Ioniq Q5N 2024 and a new kind of a Toyota vehicle which is welcome to GT7. But they call it the C-HRS 2018, a new kind of a Toyota vehicle which is becoming as a crossover SUV. Sounds interesting and very good to have another kind of a SUV vehicle after the Lamborghini Urus. 2 racetrack has now implemented in Gran Turismo Sopi is now being adding up on Autodromo de Interlagos and Mount Panorama, which is now available to be played in the PS5 version of Gran Turismo 7. New events in World Circuits to have a World Touring Car 600 at Autodromo de Interlagos, Japanese FF Challenge 450 at Sardinia Road Track, and Sunday Cup in Kyoto Driving Park to be located in Miyabi. But there's going to be having a Group C race car as a 3-car collection on extra menu number 43 will be unlocked at Car Collector 47. 2 new museum entries has been added for the following brands on Mercedes-AMG and Mini whenever you're going to have to go visit at the Brand Central. New kind of a swap engine is now available for the following cars which is going to be unlocked at Car Collector level 50 to have the list of vehicles. Alpine A110 1600S 1972, Citroen DS21 Pilot 70, Honda Civic Si Extra EF model 1987 is going to be the first one. We'll have to take a new car. We'll be adding up to have a swap engine. Land Evo 8 MR GSR 2004, Porsche 356A-1500 GS GT Carrera Speedster along with a 911 GT3 RS Type 992 2022, Renault R5 Turbo 80, Renault R8 Gordini 1966, and 2004 Subaru Impreza Sedan WRX STI. But there's going to be having a featurescape on Chromatic Drive is going to be a very good cinematic epic that you guys really might need to get yourself to go for a picture of creativity. Other improvements and adjustments that you guys really might need to read this by pausing it. And implemented performance adjustment for the following cars on the 2011 Toyota Aqua S and 2009 Toyota Prius G. Adjusted the handling of all certain cars for Group 1 racing vehicles and certain race car. Changed the default suspension and differential settings for certain road cars. Updated performance of all certain cars, and all kinds of algorithm for wireless controllers on the DualShock 4 and DualShock 5 controller whenever you might have to get yourself to have a steering of improvement. All kinds of physics and World Circuits has now been adjusted the difficulty for the following race event. Championship, World Touring Car 600 at Red Bull Ring, Suzuka Circuit, and Dragon Trail Seaside. And one more thing for sure, because adjusted the time settings for all circuit experience events and updated demonstration replay. Additionally, reset all rankings board is going to be at the license center, missions, sport mode, localization, and others. Various other issues has been addressed. So, let's go and have one special gift available to get the Hyundai Ioniq QN 2024 is now waiting at the ticket. But this will have to take the first one ever yet as a promise after watching the viewers campaign of the GTWS World Finals. Got to go down and have one available vehicle will be received for free. So feast your eyes on this one, viewers. One free car available in the car index and good paint job on Performance Blue. real car, and electric vehicle. Just beautiful, wonderful, and stored in at the garage. But I bet this will have to get down to have a main segment to go with introduction with 4 real cars, and especially to have 1 racing vehicle to be adding up as well. Just give it to have a separation with 3 kind of a real car and 1 F190 style race car is gonna have to get things to have a good look. So on to the car customization, and I'll have to take a good look to have the differences between the standard on the Ioniq 5N 2024, and there might be having a good extra surprise that you guys really gonna like this one. Customization options, which is gonna be featured to the game to have a Type A, Type B, and also to have the big wing spoiler as seen from the Pikes Peak hill climb. Looks so good and pretty much more exactly to be turns out, and there it is. Custom ring spoiler is on Type B that you guys really might need to have this one to be equipped and give yourself to have a livery design to go with a base replica style. Looks so good, amazing, and built to have an electric vehicle to go hill climbing up as a time attack vehicle. But not to mention, this is very much more indeed to have this different kind of a Hyundai electric vehicle to be added to the game. But more importantly, you guys can actually have to put up with the type of roll cage whenever you like to use. Go with Type A, Type B, or Type C. But very much more indeed, and good as ever to see this most electric hatchback vehicle to be participate in the World Touring Car 600. Fully well drive to have a good electric, and momentarily to have a good visit to have a good ways to be heading up to Brand Central. So let's proceed to Asia Pacific and have a good look to have a details and learn more about the Hyundai Ioniq 5N 2024. So there it is right now. This brings out to have a good all-wheel drive hatchback that does not have a number of displacement that contains with 641 horsepower / unknown RPM. Length is going to be at in 185.6 inches, width 76.4, height 64, weight is going to be on 4,872 pounds. Aspiration is electric vehicle. But 10 colors is now well included to have a performance blue to go with the standard or the matte color. First one is the Atlas White Matte, standard one in the same name, Gravity Gold Matte, Cyber Gray Metallic, Ecotronic Gray Matte, Ecotronic Gray Pearl, Abyss Black Pearl, 2 types on the performance blue to go with the standard and the matte variant. And this one over here is the Soultronic Orange Pearl. Looks so good, already checked, and will label on own. I bet Martin will have to explain to learn more of the details about the 2024 Ioniq 5N. EBs might not have the most excited image, but there is one example that shatters all preconceptions. I'm talking about the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. The N at the end of its name refers to Hyundai's 2 testing grounds, Nanyang and the Nürburgring. The Ioniq 5N is a true embodiment of driving pleasure. In addition to a total output of 478 kW, 641 horsepower, it has fully variable front and rear torque distribution. When set to rear bias, this car can drift, and its sound delivers the excitement of naturally aspirated engine. No doubt, the Ioniq 5N will change your mind about EVs. It's a beast that raised the bar for electric cars. It turns out very well to have this most Ioniq 5N to be designed as naturally aspirated to go for a base as electric vehicle. But it turns out this kind of a road car to be bolstered and well chosen to be welcomed to Gran Turismo 7 in the lineup. Good thing this has a good interesting horsepower and performance point to be at 568.72. But you guys really might need to get another one whenever you might need to have a second to go visit to the GT Auto to go and equip with a wide body kit. Then let's go to the GT dealership and have a showroom. We'll have to take a good look on the F3500-A. A successor to the F1500T-A is, more importantly, to have a style of a 1980s F1 race car. The F3500-A is the 1990s style of an F1 race car that brings out a displacement in 3,496cc, drivetrain on the mid-engine that brings out to have an output horsepower on 773/1400 RPM. Max torque is going to be at in 299.5 foot lb/ 12,000 RPM. Length is going to be on the 168.7 inches, width on 84 inches, height 38.7 inches, and the weight 1,113 pounds for aspiration type is naturally aspirated. But 13 colors on the base that brings out to have some specific variation, and more importantly, this kind of an F1 race car to go customization when you're at the GT Auto. But after all, the Michelin tire sticker works very well and give a good well sponsor to have a valuable partnership between Michelin and Gran Turismo. So I'll have to get down to have a good kind of a color specific and have a style on trim. Two of them is on the base white to have a red and blue trim, along with a different color to have a nice outfit to be giving a trim on black, silver on the lime yellow, aqua blue and green trim. Well, the number 6 on the blue, which is very good to have a nice style. The number 7, number 8 on the pink, number 9 on orange, number 10 on the yellow, lime green on number 11, number 12 to have a good ways to have a different green color, and the black color in number 13. But probably I'll have to decide and give this one to have a second color on number 2. F1 machines of the early 1990s were technologically simple yet remarkably elegant. Gran Turismo's very own Formula machine, the F3500-A, was born from the deep admiration of this bygone era. Like actual F1 race car of the time, the chassis is made from negative molded carbon fiber. The car's naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V12 with a pre-pneumatic values is capable of reaching up to 15,000 revs. The car also features a 6-speed semi-auto gearbox with paddle shifters and a push-rod suspension that adheres to the classic cars of before. The body features a distinctive high-nose design with front rings that extend outward from the nose rather than being underslung, proving there's no end to the evolution of F1 machines. The F3500-A serves as a benchmark for what is possible. So you see that, folks? The F3500-A is the resemblant and the spiritual of the 1990s F1 race car to that day. It brings out to have a cost total of credits to go up in 1 million. But it looks very good, and exactly to have all kinds of fictional and real life decals all together to have a good official kind of a livery that comes in to have a different style of color schemes. So I'll have to buy it and add it up onto the car index. Will be registered as well before moving on to take Toyota to have a good look along with the Honda Civic SI 1980s. It's already been acquired, but one thing for sure, to have a good look on the customization options to be heading back to the GT Auto, we'll have to get my eyes to have a good look to see how it turns out. But probably, when it comes to have a 1990s F1 style race car, customization and exterior parts will give a good style to see which is very much more good for better taste. But instead, it does not include to have a change up on the wheels, but custom parts will be available to be using on the front, side, and rear. So here is Type A and Type B, but this is very cool and awesome out there to have that good customization options when using the F3500-A. The side also comes in with the same and bring out to have a different look on the chassis, which is very much more mind-blowing. But I kinda love it. These kinds of customization options turns out very well, and the rear instead to have a switch up to go for a wing spoiler. I can't say This is pretty cool and pretty awesome to have some options when using a different kind of a 1990s F1 racing machine. So, I bet you guys just really gonna be happy about the F3500-A to be welcomed to GT7, but instead, the third vehicle, as I'm about to be heading back to Brand Central to have a good look about the new kind of a Toyota vehicle ever since from the late 2010s. So let's go in and visiting to the Toyota dealership to have a good listed on the lineup, and we have the C-HRS 2018. A crossover SUV that has a displacement with 1797cc drivetrain is a FF layout that put up to have a good standard on the horsepower by 136/5200 RPM. Max torque is 104.8 foot lb/37 RPM. It's going to be good to have 100 on the moment to have a good amount of the style. The length is 171.7 inches, width 70.7 inches, height 61 inches, and weight for 3,175 pounds as a naturally aspirated for a type of aspiration. But it also comes in to have a color selection by 16 to have a standard or the trim. So first up is the white crystal pearl shine, adding up onto the black rooftop, metal stream metallic, and the black one as well, black mica and the white on the rooftop, sensual red mica, and adding up on the black style as well. Dark brown micro metallic, which is very cool, and even includes to have a white one instead. Yellow, radiant green metallic, and nebula blue metallic. Any kinds of colors comes in to have a trims of the black and white, so I'll have to decide and give it a much more normal to have a nice black metal stream metallic. This should do well, and it costs 26,000 GT credits. Got to learn more about this crossover SUV that I never seen this one before. It turns out awesome, and it turns out to be well driven as a FF vehicle. Have you ever heard of a crossover SUV? It combines the ruggedness of an SUV with the sleekness of a coupe. Here is a prime example developed as part of Toyota's global strategy to meet the demands of the 21st century. It was called the C-HR. Measuring just 171.7 inches in length, this compact car featured a complex body design that exuded both strength and style. It featured a 1.8-liter hybrid powertrain, delivering an impressive fuel efficiency of 71.1 mpg or a turbocharged 1.2-liter engine. As Toyota's ambition, the C-HR broke records around the globe. Practical yet sporty, a prototype of this unconventional crossover took on the legendary Nürburgring 24 Hours race. Okay, no matter how the C-HR just took part of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring to see a crossover SUV to be racing on the track. So what do you guys think? It turns out it looks very nice and very impressive to have a crossover SUV to be driving to the track. But I'll have to give it a go, and this time I'll have to switch it to a different third vehicle to be having a good look and heading back to the GT Auto after being registered to the car index. So that's 26 collector points acquired, but save it for later. I'll have to be sure and go visiting to the used car dealership to have a good look on the 1980s Honda Civic on the Type EG. But prior to have exactly to have a different Honda Civic vehicle, which is a very good kind of a classic JDM vehicle. But I bet you guys have already know about it. It does have a good shape of the spirit of a JDM road car. Now, onto the front, side, rear, and wing spoiler to have a good look on the custom options on the C-HRS 2018. It comes in to have a Type A and Type B, but this one is very much more cooler to be turns out to become as a competition spec ready. The Type B is very much more indeed as well, unlike the Type A. Standard one and go by a competition to be driving on the track, and the side, same as ever to go with Type A and Type B. But not to mention, whenever you might have to keep a good use on the standard parts, it actually does remove the badge on the hybrid on both sides and give it much more competition spec when using the C-HRS 2018. The Type B is doing good, and more importantly, the Type A and Type B to remove all the other parts to have everything to become as a full spec ready. And for the wing spoiler, but take a good look. This is very interesting that turns out to be very unique. The Type A is very well included to have a nice wing spoiler to be attached onto the 454 SUV, and the Type B, which is very good to be designed for rally racing. Now on to the custom parts. No sign on the front grille and racing items, just to be included to have a roll bar cage instead. So very much more indeed, and no sign to have a new set of wheels before this update is not yet to be featured. Maybe next month perhaps? I'll have to think about it and find out soon enough. So let's go to the used car dealership and have a good look on the original Honda Civic as the EF model for a SI Extra 1987. Over here, we have a base color is the Real Red that has a displacement of 1590cc. Drivetrain layout is an FBEV that contains with 128 horsepower / 6,800 RPM. The max torque is 106.3 foot lb / 5,700 RPM. Length is on the 156.1 inches, width 66.1 inches, height 52.6 inches, and weight 2006 pounds that comes in to have a naturally aspirated for an aspiration type. Over here on the price that has a 61,600 GT credit for only one of the classic Honda Civic vehicle is very good to become as the Grand Civic. Got to learn more of the details and have a good look. Good timing. I just received a stylish hot hatch, a 4th generation EF Civic SI, also known as the Grand Civic. Civics are often associated with BTEC technology, but this SI is powered by an older CC engine. The CC was Honda's first stock engine since the S800, which made its debut 14 years prior. Although its 130 horsepower doesn't seem that impressive, the engine's long stroke design provides torque at low speeds. The car's body is light and compact, and its double wishbone suspension is sheer perfection. A major player in touring car races, the Civic was one of the most iconic hot hatches of the 1980s. Remarkable and very well indeed to have the Honda Civic Si Extra to be as a rival for the Toyota 88.6 Sprinter Torino. Just like that to be ever well said and mentioned from Initial D on the first stage. So sign me up, and I'll have to take a good look to have a nice good customization option after buying the Civic Si Extra EF model. But it turns out giving a good red color is much more exactly just like the EG model. But the logo itself is just brilliant, perfect, and good classic on the OG type. But the performance point that has a 393.51 is very good, and the total mileage is 9,569. Got to bring this OG Civic out and go back to the GT Auto. This might have to take a good interesting eye to have a good customization options to have a fourth vehicle for this update. When it comes to have a new ways of perspective, just have to make something else to come with having a new cars. We'll be doing an eye focus to have a good look on customization option. Here we have the Type A and Type B. Much more different to have a good kind of a JDM road car is very cool, swag, and much more impressive. On the side, this has to bring out to have a different kind of options to go by having a one good short body or have a wide body modification. But instead, the comfort tires without having a different set of the Michelin tires on the main category. Now onto the rear, this one that has a Type A and Type B. The Type A looks so very cool and very well vented to have a nice place up on the rear. And the wing spoiler, just look at this. this is very nice and very good for having a low grip of the spoiler, and the Type B just turned out to have a unique and well different to have a nice dual-oct engine. And the other parts when having a good look on the front grille. There is Type A by removing the Honda badge, Type B that has very much more cover to be placed up on the hood, and the Type C just to be exactly to be having a different style and adding up on the Honda logo. Well, perhaps that might be a very good complicated surprise to have the Type A and standard parts. But I bet you guys really might have to think about it. But after all, the Civic Si Extra EF model turns out to becoming very unique and very well perfectly. So, I bet all the 4 cars has now just been purchased and having a good tour of showcase to have some customization options. But one more thing for sure, so I had to be reminder to have a GIF icon available to be visiting in sport mode to have a good look on the brand new lap time challenge. So it's off to the GT Cafe and have one brand new car collection is about to be available along with some few other collection vehicles that we just already been took and recently by having a lineup of progress. Here we have extra menu number 43 is Group C. Collect some of the greatest endurance race car from the late 20th century. Porsche 962C 1988, Sauber Mercedes C9 1989, and Mazda 787B 1991. 6-star roulette ticket, just perfect, and go for the standard one to have these 3 kind of a legendary historic Group C race car along with the other ones as well. So good times, we'll have to keep a good watchable progress to have a good focusing on full walkthrough from number 11 and go back into number 11 to have a brand new part of the content update. So it's off the scapes and have a good look to be on the main feature to be implemented to have a good chromatic drive is a colorful world. So beautiful and very impressive to have 13 scenes of the background with the same usual locations. But it turns out everything is turning out to have everybody's most creativity to have something else to come up with a style of passion. But how about I'll have to choose this one is going to be a very good placement as a main example on the Chevy Corvette C3 Stingray. Just have to take a moment and have one of the good UDRS Insportec livery, Total Drama fan art liveries, or a Dispenser Camp fan art livery. But probably I'll have to go and make it something else to go specifically on the type country in Japan. Just select the masterpiece and give something else to make it nice and good on style. Okay, just had to be prepared for the rendering and watch the magic. Beautiful and stunning. I kinda like it and just had to give something for a little bit more different on the scene perspective. Now for the new part, just have to give another magic touch. Alright, successful and make a good colormatic to go basic. Now let's do it to have a different background scenes. But how about National Stadium located in Tokyo, Japan? I'll have to give it a go and make it like a second try to have a different vehicle instead. Okay, it's all organized and just have to go prefer to have a nice selection to pick a different Dispenser Camp livery. But I'll have to take a good snapshot on the Ford Mustang Group 3 in the All-Stars variation of Ashley. Just have to place it right here and watch the magic. Basic turn creativity. Now very nice. Okay, one more section to have a nice picture and give it a different kind of a scene spotlight. But they say that every artist and Gran Turismo player always had to make something else to go with a natural talent to be creative. But even by having 1 or 3 cars should be doing well added up to have a good masterpiece that everybody wants to make it something to go unique. Is this what I have been thinking about? But maybe a third kind of a livery just have to go place up and have my Total Drama OC JT Diamond on the Mercedes AMG GTS 2015. Just have to get down and do some precision on the place and have a good rotational to have the switch up and give a good spotlight on the light. Here comes the rendering and give it a third try. Beautiful, and just make it like a good pizzazz. Picture save and go leaving exit. So I bet I'll have to take a good look on the 3 images on the library. Okay, very good to have 4 pictures in total to give a good new introduction for the update that has the same scape backgrounds and give it much more colorful artist creative. Four pictures doing good and everything is doing well. Much more fantastic to have some other images as I just went down to do some planning on thumbnail image for my YouTube videos. So probably I'm currently to be at 889 subscribers by 111 more to go. So help me out, viewers. I still got a lot of way to go to be reaching up to 1000 is going to be closer to have a major moment to go on countdown. Now let's have a good look to go race and have 3 world cars will be take the participation in world circuits. Got to get down and have 1 crossover SUV for the Toyota to be racing up at Tokyo Expressway to have a good feel hands-on impression. Got to switch up the vehicle and drive it with a C-HRS 2018. Go to the time trial and heading up to central clockwise. I'll take the morning and get set to have a nice good feel to have a nice crossover SUV designed by Toyota as a Japanese exclusive model. Just like all the other Toyota SUVs and pickup truck like the Tundra TRD Pro 2019. But especially to have a 2018 C-HRS is very well exclusive to be designed as Japanese. But let's get started and have a good look for the details on the settings. We'll have to go by the comfort medium compound tires. Here is the engine model is going to be known as the 2CR-FXE-C-HR. Looks so cool, brilliant, and make it much more FF drivetrain layout to have a substitute role to go all-wheel drive. But not to mention, it's well classed to become as a hybrid SUV is going to be well drivable to have a good place in Asia specific countries. Then let's go for the ride and have a good look to see the interior view to be driving on the right hand side. Looks so very good to be improved for having a drop mode and features to have a battery to be packed up and included. Just like driving on the Toyota Aqua S and Toyota Prius G. This crossover SUV is well designed to be perfectly as a hybrid vehicle. Much more well packed up to have a battery and go 1 gear of the drive mode just like when you're in the electric vehicle. The handling turns out very nice and well improved to have a good cruising around on the city courses and especially on the racetrack. But much more importantly to have this good crossover SUV to be racing in Japanese Clubman Cup 550. Which is very much more designed to be driving for urban city transportation. If you ever think that you already have the C-HR in real life, this kind of a vehicle is going to be a best all-time popular pick for Gran Turismo 7 to see how it turns out to give a good style of the performance and good driving on the economy. But very well improved to have a different kind of a crossover SUV to be featured as a hybrid type. But naturally aspirated to go by all-in-D moment. but very much more quite good style and built for most likely to have a luxury type like the Alpahard, High Ace, and the Crown Athlete G. So it's doing well to go keep up the good drive on normal. Got to be packed up and go reach it into 100 miles before the next turn will be marked on the brake zone. Almost good enough, just might need to go a little bit more faster up the pace. Now onto the final corner, just give a good feel and make it much more drive to have a low understeer. So first lap is clear, faster time on the minute, 50.684 seconds. Now it's going to be the ghost car will have to take the stage before proceed in lap number 2. Got to admit, this is a very good kind of a hybrid crossover SUV is now being well drivable on the city and outside the area to go racing up on the course. But much more impressive to have some features when using this kind of a Toyota vehicle on the C-HR. Built for hybrid and built yet to be specifically to go anywhere on Asia countries. But maybe if there might be some different kind of Toyota vehicles to be made in America. That's how it is because all kinds of different vehicles won't be doing anything else to have a mark on tariffs. But you know about these tariffs, correct? But I just don't want to get into these kinds of politics about these kinds of vehicles that contains with some amount of high prices. But technically, this vehicle is built for hybrid ever since from 2018 back then. Still popular and built to be having a good kind of a crossover SUV to take the stage to go racing up in Japanese FF Challenge 450. So here comes the final sector. This will bring out to have a first phase of the warm-up practice in Tokyo Expressway. Go on the inside line. And very well importantly to have a good placement to go reaching up in the final turn at the right. Gotta keep it steady and keep the line flow to go in. Reaching up and crosses the line by having a good fast record on the same time with a decimal of 0.461 seconds. That should do well and give a good best time moment on lap 2 to give a good outcome results. Sector 1 is going to be quite good to have 2 sectors on number 2 and 4 and lap number 2 in sector 1 and 3. Highlight mark on the green in 27.371 seconds, 23.243 seconds, 26.999 seconds, and 32.412 seconds. Best time and good first hands-on driving impression to have a crossover SUV hybrid car is quite good to be welcome. Just have to wait for the capture thumbnail image and give the C-HR to be on the front view on the scene. Okay, that's more like it. Thumbnail image save and just have to go proceed to have 2 content replay by the normal and best lap. That should be on number 2 for the ranking board along with the Suzuki Vision Gran Turismo. Got to admit, today's workout as I just went down to have a working in progress to go by 8.9 miles and make it much more current progress to have some few other road cars and one for the 1990s F1 racing machine to go featured in the lap time challenge. But if you're ever gonna have to go and check it out on the GT Planet, that's where you're about to get yourself to be participate at Autodromo National Monza to go focus on the goal. Then let's have a good look to have 3 new events in event directory. One for the Sunday Cup at Kyoto Driving Park Miyabi. Second one is for the Japanese FF Challenge 450. Locate at Sardinia Road Track C. And lastly, WTC 600 at Autodromo de Interlagos. Progress is going to be at 75% along with Michelin Raceway World Atlanta that I never come here before. So you see viewers, this is where we're about to go enter before tomorrow's 5th January weekly challenges is going to go label up and along with a special event for the Gran Turismo F3500-A is going on 1 May category. but I'll have to go continue on to have car test number 2 by having a second part of the road going category to use with the Honda Civic Si Extra EF model 1987. Let's do counterclockwise and set in the morning. As a fan of Civic, every generation comes in to have some popularity and nostalgia, just like the EG Honda Civic as a Japanese model and the American version in the garage RCR Honda Civic EG. But what makes something else to have a good special about the Si Extra EF model for this Honda Civic? Very original, classic, and all-time rival of the Toyota 88.6 Sprinter Torino ever since from the 1980s. The tires is now well said to be on comfort medium along with the Toyota C-HRS 2018. The model type is a CC-Civic, which is very well original that comes in to have a type of the VTEC engine. But much more original kind of the performance to be well set and give a normal by default. Just to see how it turns out very well and have some few other options on tuning category type to be well equipped and installed. 3 stages and increased body rigidity is very well to go for the usual along with the other cars. Now then, second row car and give a good feel on the EF model for this Honda Civic to give a nice type of the 1980s. Just like the 1993 EG model for the current generation Civic is very bygone moment to have the CC model engine that brings out to have a good kind of a V technology. The handling turns out very cool and the style just give it much more retrospective to be well labeled as a touring car to take on with a Toyota 88.6 Sprinter Torino. So whenever you see that good look on the interior view before coming into the tunnel, the HUD is about to be turned on automatically and of course to be turned off automatically during daytime. See? Just like magic, and it turns out very realistic to see this kind of a classic Civic whenever it takes to go anywhere on daytime and nighttime. Just have to get used to it and have a good vintage style to have a ways of a JDM nostalgia. Got to go work up the paces and make it onto the 4-gear transmission to be amp up and next turn to go full straight onto the main ramp. That should do well by over 100 miles. Just make that good corner on the left. Still old school, and everybody's always loved about the popular Civic that turns out to have a good ways of an ordinary 1980s road car. And perhaps giving one good ways to have a nice comfort medium compound tires to be switched up into sports category will be more likely to give it a go and well improved to be taking on with some good kinds of a classic on the 90s and modern Japanese vehicle. Just like the Toyota C-HC is very more specifically to be designed as an FF drivetrain layout for a crossover SUV. So first lap is going clear by a minute 49.011 seconds. Got to be quick about it. This has got to go quicker on the grip and go quicker to have a rightful main moment of the scene. But no ghost car at this time, just have to go place up and have a gap distance will be set in active. Let's see how it go fast and go challenging up to have an OG Civic, which is very good to be old school moment. Okay, close call to have a nice good clear on the reflexes. Handling should do some more practice to see this old kind of a Civic on the SI EF model. It's going to be at 0.8 seconds and moving into sector 3. Just wonderful to have a good superb FF hatchback to give a good feel and make it much more quite clever to have an old school racing. So this was the save before the last. Sector 4 rolling back in. Just wait for it and have the final turn to go on the lap and cue for a nice understeer line. So there you go. Just crossed the line and record set to go faster by 1 minute, 47.711 seconds. Sounds good to have a nice old Civic is going old-fashioned and still yet popular to the day. But every race comes in to have some changes we'll have to go test out with new rides for every 2 laps when taking part in time trial. That's why I planned this for myself and give it much more impression to go explain and have a good ride of experience. As a lap number 2 to be highlighted in green to have 31.888 seconds in Sector 1, Sector 2 in 26.962 seconds, Sector 3 in 24.166 seconds, and Sector 4 24.695 seconds. Best time and going well by the improvement when using the 1987 Honda Civic Si Special, which is very good to be on the EF model to have a good vintage of the 80s nostalgia. So here comes the thumbnail image. Just wait for it and have that good scene right over here in counterclockwise when you're in Tokyo Expressway. But very cinematic and very good thrill to have a good racing on this classic Civic. Just give this thumbnail image right over here and further on investigation to be take place in tunnel number 2. So I bet that might be giving a good feel of the reflexes to be right over here. Placement and usable on the right side is good clean in one piece. Alright, I kinda think it turns out remarkable and give a good extra special to see this good kind of an EF Honda Civic model is very good to be iconic and popular along with the EG model as a 1993. But by the way viewers, already took by attempt and give it a real practice to have a warm-up in session by 13.1 miles and give it an update to have a third kind of a road going vehicle will have to be switched up into the Hyundai IONIQ N 2024. But much more importantly, and I'll have to be sure as a reminder to be taken on at Autodromo de Interlagos for the World Touring Car 600. Then let's switch up the vehicle and go on procedure to have a good placement to be located around on specific Japanese race courses. But instead, I really have to go and have a good run in America to have a placement to be racing at the Trial Mountain Circuit. Got to go there and have the full course to have a 1 lap only to give the afternoon time on 18:30 hours. Then let's go full electric for having one IONIQ 5N to have a good test and style in the electrical all-wheel drive hatchback. It's about time to have a good moment to have a third vehicle on the road going category type along with a faster 90 style F1 racing machine. But it turns out to have a one good received brief gift after watching the viewers campaign since 2024 GTWS World Finals Amsterdam. But over here on the car settings, Sports Hard Compound Tires has now set by default and the engine model known as the EM-EM27. Very much more naturally aspirated and full electrical. Well designed and give a good peak of capability to have some few other stages of options which is going to be on the bodywork. So here are the 5 stages of weight reduction, which is very well turned out to have the same exact energy just like the Porsche Taycan Turbo S to have the same function. But no parts to be intended, just have some full electric vehicle only, except the ECU will have to be set in full control computer to be having a little bit more amount on the horsepower by 641. Got to be sure to go check up and have a preview to have a nice kind of a spec engine model, just to be sure to have a nice details about each kind of the vehicle. Here comes real car test number 3 and turn the volume on. We'll have to take a good sound of the engine when driving the IONIQ 5N. It's going to be a much more silent and turning well to have a nice screech of the tires. See? The sound of the engine turns out to be naturally aspirated to be designed as electric. So look at the top speed. It's about to go up and reach it into 145 miles per hour before taking the first turn. Over here to this interior view, it actually does to have a well style of the 21st century to be designed in the future. But the GPS, whenever you might take a good look when driving on the Ioniq QN, is very well to be indeed to have some stats and the acceleration pedal to go by an increase of percentage. So the brake is now going full max at 100%. Just have to use it and make it to go calculation. Got to go preferred to be entered in sector 2. Go clear to have a round on turn number 7. Solidifying check and left turn on turn number 8. Got to keep the pedal to go maintain exactly by 80% and make it into 100. So the engine, you guys, this is very much more cool and silent excitement. Alright, coming in at the 9th turn. Keep it steady and go full drive mode. But it actually does have a good kind of a hatchback electric vehicle, which is very well to be improved to have a natural balance of the environment. Just like Tesla and all the other kinds of electric vehicle will have to face and take on the climate change. But well designed to be specifically to be racing in motorsport to be served up to have a main category to go in one make. Just only have one room reserved for the Hyundai Ioniq QN 2024. Consider this as a one make category to take on with some few other road cars to have a specifically in a type of electric. But if so, just have to bring one car and enter on any specific events, which is very good to be facing up with some other road cars, just like the World Touring Car 600. So here comes the first lap. Whenever you see the GPS is going to be marked by 2 minutes 13.92. Or exactly by the hundreds and thousands is on the decimal by 0.929. Just have to keep racing on and give a good feel of experience to have a good electric hatchback designed by Hyundai. It's doing well to have a nice acceleration pedal to go stronger up and full on the brake by incoming by the next turn. So it'll have to take it nice and easy to show the number of percentage when racing on the course to have the Ioniq Q5N, which is very well to have some lateral G's, is going to be having a good analysis whenever you see on the steering wheel by the HUD. So the temperature on the front is 65 degrees Celsius and the rear in 96 degrees Celsius. But the battery temperature is going to be on in 48 degrees Celsius. But still have a good amount of 80 horsepower. It has to go up and have some other features to be switching up into end race mode. But the touchscreen is very well to have a nice unique look to see how the Ioniq QN is well designed on the track and go anywhere in the open road. But not to mention that this same kind of the vehicle which is going to be appear from Forza Horizon 5, and rumors it is going to be take place on the Mexico for the PlayStation 5 platform in this year for 2025 in spring. Just like Xbox Series X back from 2020, and perfectly to have 5 years later until Forza Horizon will be coming to PlayStation 5 this year. So almost there to be in the final corner. Just have to go improve to be amp up on the main torque. Extra lap will have to take a good steering up and bring out a full electric acceleration to go up and have the top speed to go per kilometer to be at in 200 kilometers. So it's going to be on level 2, second lap clear, and proceed in lap 3. Got to admit, it turns out fully drivable and well competitive to have a good stagement to be racing on this Ioniq QN in WTC 600. Got to do well perfectly to have a stage of practice and always have to go drive mode. Lateral G is going on the front and steer well to be respond to have a good countermeasures to have a steering up direction between the left, right, up and down. Okay, good reflexes and still got this one to have a nice good clean mid condition. So easily, when taking part in custom race when using the Hyundai Ioniq QN 2024, it still does consider to become as a one-make category, but if possible, that should do very well to have one vehicle available as the opponent when you're in the custom race. Just saying, it's always about to have one good kind of a electric vehicle to bring out a good special to be serving up in the one-make category. So the torque is doing well, just have to keep it nice and slow and steady up with the physics. But good thing the current physics is now putting up to have some changes will be addressed to have this current update to make it to go fixing up and have a better amount of upgrade. The left turn is doing well, same goes to the right. Got to keep push up and have a good stable of improvement to beat my current time until reaching to the finish line until the fourth vehicle will have to be set on a reminder before visiting in sport mode for the lap time challenge. But very excellent to have a nice electrical all-wheel drive to keep a good capability balance between the oversteer and understeer to go counter up on the main turns when facing the opponent. And there you go, faster lap time update in 2 minutes 13.398 seconds. That should do very well, and fully well electrifying hatchback to give a good placement on car test number 3. So that should do very well and well tested to have that good kind of a Hyundai vehicle to be set reminder before the current lap time challenges for every 2 weeks. So I'll have to be sure to have a good calculations on 3 sectors highlight in the green to be separate for each lap. Now for the replay, just have to go zoom in and have the final turns on number 14 and 15 to go right here. I'll have to be ready for the capture thumbnail image, viewers. Just have to be wait and switching up on the cam. Turns out very nice and well indeed. But that should do one good enough to have an image, exit, and save both replay as well. Okay, so today's workout by a current session in 11.6 miles plus 22.1 equals into 33.7. And jackpot on 5-star roulette ticket has been received by daily, and then tomorrow's weekly challenges to go with 2 brand new and 3 for the usual. Okay, with all 3 road cars are done, now the one best part of the 90s F1 style will have to take on in the lap time challenge. Let's grab the F3500-A and go enter to have a good racing placement in Autodromo National Monza. The perfect moment will come and the GIP icon is awaiting for me to get a 2 million credit after finishing from Daytona International Speedway on the road course for the Group 3 category. But as a matter of fact, just take a good look, and I just did so far out there to have some previous lap time challenges is still pending on delay. I'm at 23,923rd place by a minute, 46.666 by having a good gold record to be placed up from the 83rd and go update into 84 on the gold medal. So I'm right back on track to have a 81,720,000 and 424 GT credits. Well, the good news is, always have to keep a good watchful eye out on daily races to have a BOP apply on the medium speed. Just have to go on Watkins Glen, Interlagos, and D-Forest Raceway, and then a featured lap time challenge is about to be opened at the Mazda circuit for the GT F3500-A. But suitable to have a racing medium compound tires to be amped up to go for a placement gold record by a minute, 25.645 seconds on comparison to top cars at 3%. as the entry period is open on January 30th before at the end of the month and ends early in February 13, 2025, which is going to be the perfect moment for Valentine's Day. But I got everything set and have a good look on the racing medium compound tires to go with a BOP applied in high speed. But the engine model is a B12-F3500-A is going to be quite good to pack up to have a tuning up work to be specifically by 773 horsepower and weight to go match correctly to be at 1,113 pounds. But very good, and 984.06 performance point is about to be checked and go correction automatically. So as always, be sure to have your best lap time whenever you might need to have a ghost lap card by assistance. I've always had to do this once, and I'm just really had to go helping hand assistance to be more importantly in order to go on the gold record. Every challenger will have to take a good lap time participation to have a nice good sound of the B12 F1 race car machine. So listen to the sound of the engine, viewers. It feels so alive and it's about to go entered on the course. See? Just went past by and go warm up in session before I'm about to take session 1. Almost forgot one thing for sure. Gotta have to take a good focusing time record by a minute 25.645 seconds. We might need to have a good irrelevant moment. But everybody has already been joined in to have a good kind of a specific official color scheme or custom livery. Just had to take a good masterpiece artwork to see how it turns out to be very nice when using the F3500-A is going to be a good kind of a 90s style F1 race car, just like the F1500T-A. So global ranking is going to be well placed up to be set by having a good eye on the replay icon, and here it is right now on the icon replay. Serbia on position 765th place, 1 minute 25.334 seconds. So I had to be ready, and I'll have to be sure to go encore by having a current lap time challenges as I have been here before to have a good early perspective to have a one session and have a good eyes on the prize to go mark on the percentage at the target in 3%. So I had to do my best and always have to do one more thing to have a go settings will have to be turned on and double check. Okay, gonna have to go on the controller settings and will improve to have the torque feedback is gonna have to go maxed out on number 8. Then here I go. Let's get it on and have the first session. As you can see, folks, this is a marvelous kind of an F1 racing interior view that you really might need to take a good look. The handling is going well fitted and designed to have a naturally aspirated F1 engine. But it's important that you need to be very extra careful without taking too much speed on the corners. So first lap coming in, got to go switch up and go Q on endurance. Got to go warm up, and then I'll have to switch it to the hood cam to have this fork kind of a vehicle as a racing car type. Feels so good alive and very much more retrospective to have a nice kind of a F1 racing machine from the 90s since Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. But the important thing is, whenever you're being as a fan of Formula 1, this kind of a Gran Turismo F3500-A is the more successful than the F1500T-A. Specifically to be well designed by the evolution of Formula 1 race car by this day since the 1960s, and evolution is now been evolved into the 2020s of this century. Okay, cut. Just need to work it out perfectly. Okay, next take, rolling, and action. As you can see, folks, have a good look in the interior view when driving with the GT F3500-A is much more different than the other F1 race cars of the 1990s. The steering wheel is well fitted to have a nice outfitted technology. To have some changes is now being well reverted as a successor from the F1500T-A. Got to get down to have a first lap to go warm up, and Ghost Car is in play. Got to go first person first, then Hook Cam will do the rest in second. Turn 1 and 2 on the first chicane is doing well to go corrective and go amp up the speed to be on the right side on the track on the inside in turn 3. Got to be extra careful, don't get too much oversteered to have each part of the chicane and corner itself. Got to keep it nice and flat and stay on the full grip balance whenever you need to go safeties on by adding up with a TCS1. The handling is very challenging when going the accelerate, but avoid taking too much acceleration after exiting the corner. But it takes practice, but however, well specifically to have this most F1 race car in the 1990 style, which is going to have to go participate in the GTWS Nations Cup, including Autodromo National Monza, is going to be... damn it. It's going to be hard to tell. As you can see, folks, this is the most kind of a 90s style F1 race car. Is well fictionalized to be designed by Gran Turismo to be participate in the GTWS Nations Cup for the upcoming 2025 season. The V12 engine is very cool, designed and naturally aspirated, just like the F1500T-A. Got to go warm up on the first lap and have a nice good view on the first person. Is very more competitive and good vintage to have a nice roll of nostalgia, just like when you're playing Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. The handling is very challenging to go full F1 competitive, very yet to have some tough corners including 2 types of chicane. Turn 1 and 2 clear, now go on the right at turn 3 before coming up at chicane number 2 at turn 4 and 5. First sector clear, just have to keep it nice and flat and try not to avoid taking too much oversteer when exiting the corner. So you see, much more well tested and give a good feel handling when facing up to overcome many obstacles to go focus on the gold record during this part of the brand new lap time challenge. So turn 6 and 7 clear. Got to go full stretch to be on the Ascari corner to be coming up in sector 3. So very good and simple on progress to see this 90 style F1 race car to go amp up and give a good feel on the torque. Got to go hook cam and do on turn 11. I hope I had to keep a good watchable eye on the Ghost Car, and that will bring out a have a traction to go set into 1. So here it goes, lap 2, and give a good torque acceleration to have it focus on the Ghost Car. So I have to be extra careful. This might be very challenging to go face up and have double amount of 2 classic F1 race car in Gran Turismo official color scheme liveries. Got to be quick about it. It takes many practice to go through with excellent endurance. Okay, turn 6, going to be quick as caution. Try not to lose grip by spinning out. This only takes 1 session, and few laps will go full endurance. That should do well to beat my current ghost time, and the main challenger is going to be a peak closer to be up and face the Ascari corner. Got to keep it careful and give a single second. Alright, there goes on turn 11. Got to be sure to keep a lot of practice until I'll have to get it right. So that's a minute, 28.894 seconds. It's going to be impossible, just like driving the Genesis X Grand Berlin into Vision GT on the road car type. Okay, 2 over rev on first gear. That should be doing a reduced amount of the advantage. The faster it gets, the challenges might have to face the speed and the handling. Okay, that was a close call. All I have to do is going to keep a good master feel to have a handling and torque on acceleration tip. This will have to take a lot of more efforts with the go hard for goal. Okay, coming back at the Ascari corner. Just to make a good clear on turn 8 through 10. Switching back to the radar in case to have that main upper hand ghost car to go up, and made it into the final corner at turn 11. Come on, just have to keep it stay on tight. Okay, same record time and decimal update by 0.513 seconds. Here it goes. Chicane 1 and 2 is going to have to take some tough effort to throw down the gauntlet. Alright, got it in, check, and focusing up on the ghost car till I had to go hard, achieve up on the goal. Ooh, so close to have Chicane 2 to be checked, and my current ghost car to be decreased by having 0.6 seconds behind. Got to keep going and keep up the tight spot on the space. There we go. Right back on 0.8 seconds. We'll be making it into 1 second to add more. Come on. That should be had to take a decreased effort to have 0.6 to be coming right back in. Still have to be predicted to go into by a minute and 27 seconds, depends on the decimal time record. Got to make that push and give a good speed of the torque. There you go. 1 minute, 27.710 seconds. Okay, very well underestimate. Come on, I can do this one. It takes more racing running perspective. And put the right spot on chicane 2 and go improve by having a quicker advantage to be slight reflexes when you're on turn 6 and 7. Okay, very nice, and work it like a competitive F1 driver. It's doing well and stable to be increased slightly by 0.7 seconds to add more, and still yet to catching up onto the current ghost car is still remain to be as the challenger approaches. Alright, that's a minute, 26.957 expected by guests as now promoted to be moving in the silver. Oof, okay, looks like that takes 5 laps and that will might have to call it in for the day. So I guess only 4 cars for the update, and it turns out very well to have a lap time challenge to be featured for the Gran Turismo F3500-A. 5 laps in the total time in 7 minutes, 39.498 seconds, and my current best time in 1 minute, 26.950 seconds. Very well average, and working on in the basic of a F190 style racer is doing well to be checked, and placement by 19.4 miles will have to go up and make it update. But very yet to be simple to have session 1 to go highlight to have some 2 sectors on lap number 5 and sector 1 from lap number 4. For the first sector, I just did good by 29.107 seconds, along with sector 2 and 3 in the 5th lap, 29.344 seconds, and sector 3 in 28.445 seconds. Best time doing well, and just have to keep up to work it with the average. We'll have to take a good practice, shape up, and then get it right. But much more importantly, that I just end up to be on 5,502nd place in comparison to top cars at 4.57%, and more importantly, just have to keep a good best and have 2 weeks of the period registration to go featured to have a new lap time challenge for the update, and be sure about it when mastering the F3500-A. Always have to be as a true competitive racer, find the line, go quicker on the strategy, and momentarily to have a good save of replay to go for the main part. And especially to have one captured thumbnail image, place it, save it, and give the normal and best lap time. So there you go, all done, and I'll have to get back to work to do some more major upcoming previous lap time challenges on 2024 and currently in 2025. But man, it gives me a lot of labor and have some more recordings. We might need to keep things in touch and be on a reminder as the game goes on for GT7. So I did good experience and have some good first hands-on impression about 4 cars for January 2025. And much more importantly, to have the best moment to be well featured, to have some changes, to have a customization options for every 4 cars. But it turns out very well indeed, and more importantly to have some 2 new events before tomorrow's weekly challenges before at the end of January. Now for the reward challenge, we'll have to get started out and proceed to be forward to have some expiration date on February 28th and onwards to have the current date before having 1 ticket expiration on March 1st, 2025. Let's do the 4-star ticket on the engine type. Let's give it 1 pick of a prize selection. And there you go. 1 random choice of the engine swap compatible goes to the Honda Civic Type R Limited Edition FKA 2020. Let's have a good look. Just give me something to have a good choice between the Honda NSX or the Mercedes AMG safety car. But right on the credit jackpot, 100,000 GT credit on the silver type category. 4-star ticket open up, and earlier to have a 5-star roulette ticket that I just already been received. So let's see some more current credits, and there you go. Always be the usual, 30,000 GT credit. Luckily, I spared to have 1 part at least to get by 100,000 GT credit earlier, so I'm at 81,850,424 GT credits. 1 F1 race car and 3 world car for January 2025 update on Gran Turismo 7. So what do you guys think about the 4 cars, which is very good to have a 3-kind road car, and a single F1 race car 90 style is exactly to have a good moment to have some customization option. My best answer pick is the Hyundai Ioniq N 2024. My best pick about the Hyundai My best pick for the Hyundai Ioniq Q5N 2024, which is very perfectly as the example to have a good first ever electric hatchback that features to have a good customization style to go referred as the Pikes Peak version. Along with the Toyota C-HRS 2018 is a good kind of a hybrid SUV vehicle to be designed to go on the track, especially the Nürburgring to be take part of the 24 hours of endurance. But along with the Hyundai Civic Si Extra EF model 1987. That should be everybody's most favorite kind of a pick to have a different kind of a Civic vehicle. It is very good to have a same kind element just like the EG model. But classic as an 80s model, which is still yet to be popular to take on with the Toyota 88.6 Terreno, is very much more rolling up as a main rival since the touring car races. And but the best one ever yet is the Gran Turismo F3500-A. Perfectly to have a good kind of a nice style as an F1 race car, just like the F1500T-A. But the right kind of a color and good style on the white base and trim on blue. And exactly that should be quite good to be amazing to have a good amount of performance point to go up by over 950. But whenever you like to think about this car, just take it to go to the special event before weekly challenges will be coming up by tomorrow, and that will be the best time to have a good kind of a UDRS Inspirtech livery, dispenser cam fan art to have a team specific variation to have an icon to have a favorite characters since season 1, 2, and All Stars. But perhaps I maybe still have to be working on for having some new additional batches for DreamArt livery style dispenser on season 4 Carnival of Chaos. But after all, I'll be looking forward to it before tomorrow is going to be a very good excellent episode, just like 3rd season from All Stars to have a good strike the chord will give a good singing of a talent. But looks to me, and I'll have to get down to do some plan up onto the lineup, we'll have to get down to it as I'm about to wrap it up before at the end of the video. But especially to have one more thing to have some full walkthrough, we'll have to put myself to get back in since yesterday from having 2-part conclusion as an encore in 4 races in Race a Turbo Sports Car after finishing Grand Valley Highway 1 and Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit. But I'll have to get down to do some next plan to go racing up to have 2 races in Sunny Cup at Tokyo Expressway in Central Clockwise and Kyoto Driving Park Miyabi. We'll have to go back to the basic to get things to have a new phase of the 3rd season for my full walkthrough. I'll have to do my best, and then the rest will have to continue on, and then the custom race will have to be wait on standby after finishing up to have my full walkthrough across to my GT7 journey. But new events, new cars, and main features along with the major changes in sport mode has now been applied to go fix up and then make it to go improve before the exhibition series after the GTWS Nations Cup for this year in 2025. But Manufacturers Cup will be coming up soon, and be on the lookout when you're visiting in sport mode. Thank you for enjoying watching the video on Gran Turismo 7. I hope you enjoyed. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, then click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. Follow me on Dividend Art, Instagram, Facebook, GT Planet, Patreon, Discord, and more social media platforms. Plus, membership is now open to everyone who will join to get access for price levels a month with exclusive perks, custom emoji with my OCs, and many features to support the channel. It's the best way to help out with a super thanks as an extra will support and grow. I'll be see you guys next time on Gran Turismo 7, and I look forward to see you again at the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.